welcome back to another episode of Adapt, Attack, and Advance. This is episode 5. I am Michael Braddock, and I am thrilled to have my special guest and friend, Jon Tait with Signature Wealth Strategies. Jon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Michael, you are a special friend of mine as well. So good to see you on this Friday.
Yeah, same to you, man. I look forward to where we can get together face to face.
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, Jon, if you would share a little bit about the people watching and listening, a little bit more about kind of who you are and what Signature Wealth Strategies is.
Well, again, my name is Jon Tait. My wife and I moved to Leland back in 2006. I grew up in North Carolina, but when my wife and I moved back to Leland, we had both previously worked for Raymond James at their home office in St. Petersburg, Florida. And so the idea of moving to Leland was that we wanted to open up a Raymond James office in Leland. And that's what we did. That was Kristen, my wife's specialty. She was in charge of opening up new branches for Raymond James. And so we did that, and I became a financial planner in in Leland for Raymond James. And in 2018, we basically grouped together with some other Raymond James advisors to form Signature Wealth, and we have several offices over South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, and I believe there's one in Georgia as well. But we manage about $1.5 billion together between us, and I've been working with Raymond James since 2001, and it's been a fun ride so far. And in that time, we've had ups, downs, sideways, all kinds of market events, market conditions, everything you might imagine. But I'm not sure anything so far has compared to what we've been going through so far with COVID. So here we are with that.
Yeah, it is. It's most certainly unprecedented times. I know in our lifetime, for sure. It's 2008. I think is going to pale in comparison to kind of what we're experiencing now. Well, let's dive into, this is a 3-part episode as to kind of adapting, attacking, and then advancing, moving forward. So adapting in its nature is kind of to pivot and to quickly reassess the situation and then change, maybe even sometimes go 180 from what you're doing before. So when did you start making adjustments for kind of COVID-19, and then fast forward to where we are now, because some of these questions are day by day are becoming sort of irrelevant. So kind of fast forward to when things first started coming out, and then to where we are right now, and some of the kind of the adaptations that you've had to make.
I mean, from a personal standpoint and an office business standpoint, we started making changes at the same time that the local schools began making changes, because once our son's school shut down, that's when we had to make alternative arrangements for his care. And that's when the changes really started. And we started making changes in the office. We started advertising more Zoom conference calls with clients, more phone calls with clients, and really not really discouraging, but really leaving the face-to-face meetings for really more important items or things that were really important to get done in a timely fashion. So we started around a couple months ago, and March has seemed like the longest year of my life so far, and we just got through it. So April forward is really just starting 2021, I guess.
Yeah.
We sent out an email to our clients this past week telling them that we've essentially closed down our office. We will on demand meet face to face, but we encourage social distancing, and we're going to take every step we can to not spread the disease. And we are considered an essential business, so we can remain open. And so I have one other certified financial planner that works in the office with me. And so this week he's been in the office and I've been working from home. Next week we'll switch and do the opposite. So we're not in the office at the same time, so that we don't potentially get sick at the same time. I think that would probably be for us one of the worst case scenarios, that neither one of us could be able to handle client issues and emergencies and whatever they need us to do for them.
That's actually an interesting point. Just risk mitigation from a physical standpoint. That's never really thought that all the way through, but that makes a lot of sense, especially in your world.
Yeah, we always talk about succession planning, what's going to happen to my business if something happens to me. And so we have all those plans in place, but that's more of a death scenario. But just from a not able to come into the office and function, I mean, if I'm on a ventilator in the hospital, obviously I'm not making trades or doing any client servicing. So it's just something to think about. I don't know. It's probably taking it too far, but that's just one thing we've done to hopefully mitigate the risk to ourselves.
No, that seems very, very wise. Well, moving into the kind of the attack portion, unless there's anything else you'd like to add to just kind of how you've had to adapt from a professional standpoint or personal standpoint.
It's just, I think what we're all trying to do is protect ourselves and protect the people that work with us. I mean, you and I are both in the service industry. We provide a service for other people, and the worst thing in the world would be to put our clients in the position of getting sick from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you and I both understand we have to do everything we can not to do that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more on that. Well, let's dive into the second part of this interview. So talking about attacking, and really, to me, attack is more so about a mindset. The actual definition is, as far as the transitive verb, is to set upon or work against forcefully, and then to set to work on and attacking a problem. So how are you attacking this problem head on?
I think an easy thing to do during this time would be to relax from a marketing standpoint or a service standpoint, and not really try to attract new clients. But from the standpoint of marketing, we are rolling out a new marketing campaign here shortly. We are going to try to expand our business during this time, and hopefully by referrals, by word of mouth, by the new marketing campaign. If people are sitting at home and they have questions about their portfolio and what's going on, we are going to try to take a large part of their mind share during this time period, because I think people are going to be sitting at home, watching things on their computer, on TV, looking at Facebook, looking at Twitter, trying to stay updated. And we want to try to put our business in front of them while they're doing that. So I think that's one of the ways we are going to be attacking during this time period from the standpoint of marketing. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
no, absolutely. That does, and that leads me to another point from the standpoint of mindset. So what kind of mindset do you have to have during this period of uncertainty when sometimes it's a matter of kind of save the ships, right? So what kind of mindset are you embracing, and also are you having your team embrace?
It's all about budgeting. If you're looking at this as a potential, because when the market goes down, our compensation decreases as well, and so it's hard to support a budget with decreasing revenue. So we've gone through all of our costs, and we're not traveling right now, which I think is an easy thing to cut out of the normal budget.
Sure.
So there's not as much meals and entertainment. There's not as much of these some of these spending items, and so some of those are going away. I think it will probably, even after this COVID experience clears up or lightens up or loosens up a little bit, I still think it's going to be very hard to bring some of these meals and entertainment costs, the travel costs, all of those things back into the budget. I think some of those things people are going to take out, and those are parts of the economy that may continue to struggle a little bit after some of the pieces start to recover, because that may be part of the consumer psyche and the business psyche that changes and takes a longer time to recover. But those are some of the costs we're cutting out, and we're just trying to operate everywhere we can, conserve revenue, and expand the business and try to recover what the market has taken away, so to speak.
For like a lean, very lean model, trying to get as
Yes.
lean as you can. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about this last portion, really the advance. And I kind of see that more so as sort of the pushing ahead. Webster defines it as to accelerate the growth or progress of, and then to move forward and to proceed. So as you're moving forward and proceeding, some of these policies and practices and technology that you've implemented during the kind of adaptation process, do you see you keeping some of these things moving forward after we get through this period of time that we're in?
Yes. I mean, I think, I don't know if it's necessarily Zoom. I don't know if, I mean, you can't be the only player in a space like that forever. So
Sure.
I think Cisco, I think Microsoft, I think some other folks are going to have more aggressive offerings that try to expand the marketplace. But I think that is something that if clients become used to meeting, quote unquote, face to face, kind of like you and I are right now, but not in the same room, I think that is something that is very easy to have stick around. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier than all the conference calls that we had to have after 9/11, when we had, the airlines shut down for a couple weeks. Travel was harshly restricted. We couldn't, travel places, and we didn't really have. I don't think we had Zoom like we have it today, but we had all these multi-conference calls and other things, and that persisted for a while. But I think, and then it went away again. But I think Zoom, with their capabilities of video, making it very easy for everybody to do it, I think that is something that has a good chance of sticking around a lot longer this go round. And
I think you're right. I think what's also occurring from the standpoint of at least just purely anecdotal, seeing things that were at one time a conference, were at one time a conference call or an actual in-person meeting, now just jump on Zoom. Make sure you just have a nice shirt on the top. You can wear shorts on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand up.
and then knock it out. And then and I think people are becoming, especially, this is just personal opinion, especially in the telemed field.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good one also. And I know, Novant is rolling out all of their telemedicine programs aggressively right now. And I do think that is something, if they can work out the pricing with insurance and, is it, I guess they have to work through what the insurance companies consider a full examination.
Sure.
Whether it's in person or telemedicine. So there's still some kinks to work out there, but I think that's a very easy thing for that field to adapt, because you're not passing any diseases back and forth or anything if you're just meeting computer to computer. And I think another thing that is going to have a good chance of sticking around, once people get used to having food delivered to their office. I mean, the camera doesn't just add 10 pounds. I mean, I'm a large man, but I do think that food delivery and making it easier for people to get food at their office. I think sit down lunches may have a hard time coming back after people get used to eating at their desk, eating on the move, eating, potentially healthy food, but, just eating faster and not really taking the time to sit down at a table with a bunch of people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's an interesting thought that I haven't considered. That's a great one. That's a good one. As far as, before we move into the last part, I know we talked about some of the Zoom and some of the other things, and you see some of these things sticking around with your business also, just as long as kind of the client is kind of more comfortable with the operating of those things.
Yeah. And, I think we've got, when it comes to face-to-face meetings in the office, I think we have a some hand sanitizer on every single flat surface in our office for people to pick up and use. I think that's going to stick around for a while too. But
yeah, sure, makes
we're
sense.
just trying to make it as safe for people as possible, and navigate all these changes, especially at the government level with the CARES Act and the required minimum distributions and all of those things. I mean, there's a lot of changes. It's going to take a long time for this to be really absorbed by the system and accepted by the public. And so we've got a lot in front of us. Like I think you said earlier, there's a lot left to come down the pipeline, but we'll handle it.
That's right. What's the other option, right?
Yeah, there's not. I come to work for you is the other option.
Well, last question. How can people that are watching and or listening, if they want to work with you during this period of time or even beyond, what can they do to reach out to you and get in touch with you? And what type of services do you offer?
So my partner, Brock Hall, and I are both certified financial planners, and we handle all manners of complex financial issues, but primarily it is our job to create a strategic plan for our clients and help them implement that plan over the 30 some odd years that they plan to be retired. And it's a living document, so it is changing constantly. It's our job to update it. It's our job to communicate with clients and make sure that we're doing what they want us to do, and that they're doing what they need to do. That's particularly tough in this environment, is getting clients to do what they need to do. But most of the ones who trust us to make good decisions are also good listeners and fast learners. But the easiest way to get in touch with us is just simply to pick up the phone and call our office at 910-371-0366. Or you can always email me at john@signaturewealth.com, and we'll help you any way we can.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate your time today, Jon, and I'll make sure when this gets posted up that you're going to be tagged up above or down in the comments. And I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, and I apologize if I've gave you a lot to edit later tonight.
No, you're fine. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Michael.